Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, police in Federal Capital Territory ban scavengers to improve security in the nation's capital. United Arab Emirates lifts visa ban on Nigeria after almost 1 year of suspension as President Tinubu secures landmark deal. Accounting profession icon Akintola Williams dies aged 104. And away from Nigeria, rescuers race to find survivors after deadly Morocco earthquake as death toll rises to 2,681. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour tonight. I am Eugenia Abu. The FCT Police Command has ordered the arrest of scavengers, also known as Baba Bola, in the nation's capital as part of efforts to curb the level of insecurity in Abuja. The Police Public Relations Officer of the Police Command, Josephine Ade, disclosed this while speaking with Trust TV on the level of insecurity in the FCT. Newell Thompson has more on that story.
The FCT Police Public Relations Officer also said the command is beaming its searchlight on scavengers, also known as Babambola, in the FCT, who are notorious for stealing security lights and vandalizing public properties.
We've been arresting a lot of them. The Commissioner of Police have even made it a mandate. It's part of those mandate that he gave all the divisional police officers to make sure that they arrest. On sighting of these people, they should be arrested. And we've been arresting them, we've been charging most of them to court, we've been parading them. During one of these achievements that I mentioned earlier, you could see that there are some vandals who stole these manholes. We were able to recover some of these manholes. So those are part of the things we are doing. So we advise members of the public on citing these people. You can as well use our command emergency number, call our attention, or even call the attention of the division so that these people will be arrested.
She also spoke on what the FCT Police Command is doing concerning the security situation in the FCT in relation to kidnapping, car theft, attacks and robbery on residents at strategic locations at night.
We discovered that most of the uncompleted buildings is their hideouts. So we raid all these uncompleted buildings. Every divisional police officer has been charged with by the Commissioner of Police to raid all the black spots within his jurisdiction.
She used the opportunity to dish out some security tips for FCT residents to help them avoid being victims of crime.
When you see something, you say something to the police. Let me be clear now. It's not say something to right authority anymore. Say something to the police. Because we find out a lot of people will sit down at the comfort of their homes and make video to create panic. If we are not condemning or we are not ruling out the fact that you saw something and you are trying to alert members of the public, but in the form and ways you alert members of the public may create panic instead of solving the problem.
Security, they say, is everyone's business, hence the need for all to be involved through providing the police with vital information that can lead to crime reduction. Newell Thompson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and President of the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, on Monday in Abu Dhabi finalized a historic agreement which has resulted in the immediate cessation of the visa ban placed on Nigerian travelers. According to a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, with the agreement, both Etihad Airlines and Emirates Airlines are to immediately resume flight schedules in and out of Nigeria. Ngelale said negotiations between the two heads of state on the immediate restoration of flight activity through these two airlines and between the two countries does not involve any immediate payment by the Nigerian government. The deal, Ngelale noted, also includes new investments by the investment arms of the government of the United Arab Emirates worth several billions of dollars in the Nigerian economy across multiple sectors, including defense, agriculture and others. He informed that President Tinubu also successfully negotiated a joint new foreign exchange liquidity program between the two governments, which will be announced in detail in the coming weeks. According to the presidential spokesman, the president commended the UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan for his friendship and determined effort to join hands with him to fully normalize and reset to excellence the standard of relations between the two countries. A Nigerian resident in the United Arab Emirates, Kadam Sadiq, is joining us via Zoom to discuss agreements signed between the two countries. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Sadiq. What does the visa ban lift mean for Nigerians resident in the UAE and those coming to do business?
Of course, many people who have always waited for this development for long have received this development, this news, with relish, because the ban has affected many people. Many people lost their jobs and many businesses closed. In fact, even Nigerian students in the UAE had to go back to Nigeria following the expiry of their visas and their inability to renew the visas. That has been for more than almost 2 years since the ban was imposed on Nigerians. And this development had been expected since the commencement of this new administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and especially after his meeting with the new UAE ambassador in Abuja, when he presented his letter of credence at the new ambassador of the United Arab Emirates in Abuja, Nigeria.
So one of the deals secured by the Nigerian president has to do with foreign exchange. In what way, for instance, will this address Nigeria's foreign exchange scarcity? And what other benefits are accruable to both countries from these agreements?
Well, since the UAE is one of the major countries through which Nigerian business people import goods and also travel for leisure, for tourism and medical services, and also academic purposes. I believe this agreement, if rectified, will address a lot of problems to Nigerians who are facing challenges for accessing foreign exchange when traveling to the United Arab Emirates. People expect this agreement, when the details are released, to address the scarcity of the foreign exchange when trying to go into the United Arab Emirates, and also to address the issue of money laundering that many unscrupulous people have been engaged in for so long. And by so doing, the UAE will be able to address the issue of all the suspicion which has always been raised about many people using the UAE-Nigeria route to perpetrate money laundering and other illicit activities. I believe also Nigeria stand to benefit a lot, because it will attract more investors from UAE to Nigeria, which I believe Nigeria need a lot of UAE investors, given the huge trade volume between the two countries, which is, however, in favor of the United Arab Emirates so far.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask you finally, how are Nigerians in the UAE taking this situation at the moment?
Well, especially Nigerians who have been stranded in the country, having lost their jobs, and they have not been able to get back to Nigeria over this period. There are a lot of excitement. Nigerian communities here, people are sharing the news with relish and a lot of satisfaction. And many have already started to apply for change of status and doing all other paperwork and other procedures to regularize their positions and the status in the country again. So it is a very welcome development for the Nigerian community here, especially those who have been stranded.
Thank you very much, Kadam Sadiq, for speaking to Trust TV.
Thank you.
The Daily Trust Foundation and the Korea International Cooperation Agency have signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU aimed at strengthening collaboration between the two organizations. The signing took place at the Media Trust Group premises in Abuja on Monday. Khadija Bawa completes the report.
The Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOICA, is a South Korean government agency responsible for providing official development assistance aimed at supporting sustainable development, reducing poverty, and enhancing the quality of life of recipient nations. The relationship between Nigeria and Korea has been cordial from economic to socio-cultural. According to the Auditor General of KOICA, Join In-seo, who sees great collaboration and impactful outcomes from the signing of the memorandum.
This is the beginning of our cooperation, as our ambassador Kim Young-chae told us. So I hope our cooperation between the KOICA and the embassy and the Daily Trust Foundation will continue. The purpose of the ODA, including KOICA, is to reduce poverty and support the sustainable development and enhance the quality of life in Nigeria.
The chairman of Daily Trust Foundation, Biliabala, revealed that both KOICA and the foundation share similar goals of providing educational and humanitarian support to Nigerian people, adding that such shared interests will kickstart a relationship that will benefit both Nigeria and Korea.
I make bold to say that both Korea International Cooperation Agency and the Daily Trust Foundation have a meeting point in providing educational and humanitarian supports to the Nigerian peoples. Though the concrete areas of partnership have not yet been demarcated and identified, however, we hope in the nearest future we'll be able to cooperate in education, health, advocacy against conflicts, media, and journalism.
The partnership is expected to be beneficial to both Nigeria and Korea, as KOICA has been involved in a range of interventions in Nigeria since its arrival in the country. Khadija Ishaq Bowers, Trust TV News.
Tragedy struck on Monday in Gurin, a suburb of Fufore local government area in Adamawa State, as a boat carrying numerous passengers capsized in a river. According to a local source, the victims, mostly women and children, were returning from farms and a naming ceremony when the wooden boat sank, leaving them missing. The Executive Secretary of the Adamawa State Emergency Management Agency, Muhammad Suleiman, confirmed the incident, stating that it occurred in the afternoon and that rescue efforts were ongoing. The member representing Fufore Gurin constituency at the Adamawa State House of Assembly, Umar Bobo Ismail, also confirmed the tragic incident. As the search for the missing victims continues, observers say the unfortunate incident serves as a reminder of the dangers that can arise from water transportation, especially in rural areas where safety measures are often lacking. In the meantime, 6 more bodies of farmers who lost their lives in a boat mishap in Gbajibo, a community in Mokwa local government area of Niger State, have been reportedly recovered by divers. Trust TV gathered that 16 of the people who lost their lives were members of a single family. A member of the affected family, Kashi Mokwa, told Trust TV on telephone that the deceased included her biological daughter, grandchildren, and other members of the family. Mokwa explained that they were going to farm when the boat collided with an underwater stump because the water level had risen due to regular heavy rainfall. She appealed to the government to come to their rescue by providing better and bigger boats as well as life jackets in order to avert further mishaps. The Kano State government has vowed to shut down any private school that increases school fees. Special advisor to the Kano State Governor on private schools told Trust Television that government has warned the schools to maintain the existing school fees, given the current economic hardship. Correspondent Idris Jibrin has that report.
After nearly 2-month-long holiday, schools have finally resumed. But this time around, the resumption is trailed by a series of controversy between private school owners and those who regulate them.
The problem is simply the fact that he is going on air, embarrassing, intimidating, and harassing our members. And also he has physically and otherwise at various forums done a lot of things that we feel are not becoming of his position and also do not befit school owners.
Actually, there is no problem. but probably they do not understand my mission. They do not know why the governor appointed me. I conducted this exercise over years. I was chairman task force private school, second time, third time, fourth time. And the fifth time I was appointed the chairman of a board of this place.
The private schools are accusing the special advisor to Governor Abba Kabir for harassment and intimidation of their members over attempts to increase school fees, which they believe is the only way to sustain their services, while Kano state government believed otherwise, especially on issues regarding to law and order.
I'm proud to say that no public school can compete favorably with our members. The services we provide is equal, if not better, for most other private public schools that are around. And we can compete favorably with schools within and outside Kano State. So at the time when we are doing our best within our resources, all of these people set up with their own resources, their own funds, to set up their schools and run them.
The law was established or assented by the former governor on the 28th of May 2014. And this law requires a lot of things. That the school owners should have good environment, laboratory, toilets, no compulsion of increment of school fees, no compulsion of buying uniforms, textbooks, and so on and so forth. But they are only interested in continuing with their illegality. That is by evading the law.
According to the Association of Private School Owners, 80% of private schools in Kano have not been able to pay salary for the past 2 months, and that 1 in every 5 schools have closed down due to paucity of funds.
80% of our members are in rented buildings. Go around and find out what is the rent now. So if you look at the realities on ground, does it make sense to just make a blanket statement that, for example, if you're talking about school fees, that nobody should increase school fees, for example?
Nigeria is in economic crisis now. Workers' salary has not been increased. Pensioners, market women, everybody is suffering. Why should we allow them to increase school fees now?
While the schools now resumes fully, Kano state government assures to sanction anyone that increase school fees, arguing that everyone is being affected by the current economic reality and that parents should not be at the receiving end. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And away from Kano, we return to the Federal Capital Territory, where the Minister, Nyesom Wike, has warned contractors handling the rehabilitation of 135 roads in the capital city, as well as civil engineering services, against contract variations. The minister, who gave the warning while inaugurating the projects in Abuja on Monday, promised that the project would be completed in 6 months. He said FCT would pay all the contractors their money to enable them complete the projects within the agreed timeline. He also warned the Permanent Secretary, FCT Administration, Olushade Adeshola, not to bring any paper asking for reconsideration or a file for unanticipated issues, saying everything has been considered and anticipated. The minister urged residents to support the contractors to enable them to finish the job on time, adding that no development comes without some pains. He also solicited the support of traditional rulers to ensure that the youths and all residents of their communities support the contractors to deliver the job on time. National State House of Assembly Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Kano has dismissed a petition by Senator Kabir Ibrahim Gaya challenging the election of Kawu Sumaila of NNPP as senator representing Kano South in the Senate. The tribunal said the petition is grossly incompetent. Chairman of the 3-man panel of justices, Justice R.O. Odogu, held that the petitioner failed to discharge the burden of proof as required by law. The tribunal, according to him, finds no merit in the petition and accordingly dismissed it. The tribunal affirmed Kawu Sumaila of NNPP as validly elected senator for Kano South Senatorial District. The sum of 200,000 naira cost is awarded against the petitioner. The National and State Assembly's Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Jos has sacked the senator representing Plateau South Senatorial District, Napoleon Bali, and member representing Barikin-Ladi Riyom Federal Constituency, Peter Gendeng. The tribunal, however, declared former Governor Simon Lalong of the All Progressive Congress APC and Fom Daliop of the Labour Party LP, who came second in the February 25th general election in the state as winners. Ado Musa completes that report.
Both APC and LP candidates had asked the tribunal to nullify the election of Napoleon Bali and Peter Gendeng on the ground that the PDP doesn't have structure and therefore could not file a candidate for the election. In their separate rulings at the court, Justice Omaka Eleko and Justice Muhammad Tukur nullified the election of the two PDP candidates because of the party's failure to respect the order of a Jos High Court to conduct ward congresses before the last general elections. Counsel to the parties speak on the judgment.
The court held that PDP was not qualified to have even contested in that election. Therefore, all the votes given to the PDP were wasted votes. So we give God the glory. We listen with rapt attention to the judgment, and it is in line with the law. Therefore, justice has been served.
Well, like we say as lawyers, the tribunal has spoken. We know in law, whatever the tribunal, the court holds, that is the decision before sin is set aside or affirmed. Now, the good thing is that this day is a tribunal of first instance. We have one more step, and the third step is the Court of Appeal.
The justices therefore said the evidence presented by the APC and LP candidates were relevant and admissible, adding that all the vote cast for the PDP candidate were invalid. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
We go now to Delta State, where Governor Sheriff Oberevori has filed a notice of appeal at the Supreme Court against the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Abuja, which ordered the Delta State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal to hear on merit the petition filed by the candidate of the Labour Party in the last election, Ken Pella, challenging his election as governor. Oberevori, in the notice of appeal filed by his lead counsel, Damian Dodo, SAN, listed 3 grounds upon which he would argue that the appellate court erred in making an order for a retrial in the Labour Party's petition. A 3-man panel of the Court of Appeal led by Justice Lawal Shuaibu had in a judgment delivered on August 31st faulted the decision of the tribunal to dismiss the case of the petitioners on claims that the petition was abandoned because the petitioner's application for pre-hearing session was not properly filed. Subsequently, the appellate court ordered that the petition be taken back to the tribunal for hearing within the time stipulated in the Electoral Act. Dissatisfied with the decision of the Court of Appeal, the governor has now filed a notice of appeal at the Supreme Court, where he is seeking an order of the court allowing the appeal. He also asked the court to set aside the judgment of the appeal court delivered on August the 31st and affirm the decision of the tribunal delivered on July the 6th. Vice President Kashim Shettima has reiterated the commitment of President Bola Tinubu's administration to the welfare of Nigerians in its programs and policies. Shettima said this on Monday in Sokoto while inaugurating the distribution of palliatives worth 5.1 billion naira by the state government. The vice president, who commended the Sokoto state government for the initiative, urged other state governments to emulate the gesture. He expressed the appreciation of the federal government to the Sokoto state government for the donation of operational vehicles to security agencies. Vice President Shettima, in a related development, commissioned the Rijia Doruwa flyover constructed by the state government at the cost of 5.3 billion naira.
And the provision of palliatives to cushion the effects of the withdrawal of petrol subsidy is also a very, very welcome development for our people, especially the poor and the vulnerable. But I want to assure the people of Sokoto, we were here for the campaigns in this Giginya Memorial Stadium, and the President made a commitment that inshallah when elected, he will work day and night to promote the welfare of the Nigerian citizenry. He is a leader with a great deal of empathy, a leader imbued with a great deal of passion and compassion, a leader who sleeps with the people of Nigeria at heart and wakes up with the people of Nigeria at heart. The government is coming up with very robust programs to ameliorate the sufferings of the Nigerian people.
Vice President Kashim Shettima in Sokoto State. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Erratic rainfall worries Gombe farmers as harvest season sets in. More news when we return. Do stay.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
That's right, you too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
Thank you for rejoining us. This is News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Police in the Federal Capital Territory ban scavengers to improve security in the nation's capital. And United Arab Emirates lift visa ban on Nigeria after almost 1 year of suspension as President Tinubu secures landmark deal. Now to more news. The Nigeria police is investigating the death of an infant allegedly murdered by a student of Gombe State University. The suspect, a female student of the university, was arrested by security guards of the institution for allegedly throwing the day-old baby from a story building after giving birth at the student hostel. Ibrahim Ismail has that report.
This viral video captured the moment when authorities of Gombe State University arrested the female student who allegedly threw a day-old baby from a 3-story building at the institution. The lady was said to have gave birth to the child out of marriage. Gombe State Police Command is investigating the matter.
We are sad. It's not a good case to investigate. We don't want it to happen. And that is why the Commissioner of Police, because he's a father, he has daughters, he has children as well. So if anything of such happen, so people are there looking for children, begging God, always praying for God to give them. We are investigating to find out what transpired and what happens from the first place that gets to that leads to this happening that we're talking about.
The police also urge institutions to report incidences immediately for timely intervention. The command called on parents and guardians to monitor activities of their wards.
They should endeavor to involve the police. They should inform us on time so that we can be able to do our investigation together with them. Without their cooperation, we may not be able to do anything about it, or we are not going to have what we require to commence investigation.
As it stands, details of the incident is still sketchy, but police authorities have promised to provide more information as soon as investigations are concluded. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
A truly sad story there from Gombe State. In the meantime, the Lagos State Police Command in Ikeja on Monday paraded 13 suspects for various offenses in the state. Among those paraded are a fake police officer and a fake legal practitioner. Here's that report.
The Lagos State Police Command, while parading the suspect, said it will not relent in the fight against criminality in the state. Items recovered from the suspects included 72 wraps of hard drugs, cash, lawyer's wig, criminal administrative books, police uniform with cap, 2 legally made guns, 2 light caches, 2 wristwatches, and 5 mobile phones. Addressing journalists, the public relations officer of the command, Benjamin Hudanyin, who represented the Commissioner of Police, Idowu Owohunha, speaks on those arrested for impersonation.
Of course, he introduced himself as Commissioner of Police, and that was as far as he could convince us, Commissioner of Police. Further questioning, where are you serving, and some other things. He gave himself away and he has been arrested. The investigation reveals that he has been doing this for quite some time.
Among the 13 paraded suspects is one fake police officer who parades around the state as a commissioner with a fake ID card, a fake legal practitioner who goes around claiming to be a lawyer, a 40-year-old lady in Ikorodu area of Lagos who is involved in selling hard drugs, and others involved in armed robbery.
The only day I presented it is the day VIO talked to me.
Actually, whenever I collect a kind of a litigation in my office, I do give it to lawyers to take it up and appear in the court for them.
I started selling it. I'm not making any money out of it. Even yesterday, the one that they saw with me, I went to go and collect it, credit. If I said it finished, I used to return the money.
I don't go more than 3 times. More than 3 times. This one is the last one. This one I will go is last one.
The Lagos State Police Command assured Lagosians that with their continuous support, the command will continue to record successes in the fight against crime and criminality in the state.
In another development, 7 persons have died following a violent clash on Monday between Tiv and Yache people of Yala local government area of Cross River State. 10 persons sustained machete cuts and are currently receiving medical attention. At least 15 mud houses were also set ablaze in the reprisal attack between the youths from both sides. A community leader in Yache, Augustine Adula, said they were in a church service when pandemonium ensued. Adula said the Tiv people had been paying royalties on the land but decided to stop. Secretary of Yala and Cross River North Elders Forum, Leonard Anyongo, described the development as very unfortunate. Police spokesman in Cross River State, Irene Ugbo, said official reports about the incident has not been received, but that the command will hold a security meeting shortly. The continuous vandalization of armored cables by vandals has put many parts of Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, in darkness due to lack of power supply. This attracted the attention of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly, which frowned at the situation and urged the state government to take proactive measures to curtail the situation. Abubakar Abdullahi sent this report as presented from our studio.
In recent time, different communities in Lafia, Nasarawa State capital, have woken up to find their armored cables in their electric transformers missing as a result of the activities of vandals. These communities have engaged in several protests against the hardship caused by the removal of the armored cables. Bringing the matter under public importance, Solomon Akwashiki, the member representing Lafia constituency, drew the attention of the House to the constant vandalization of armored cables in his constituency.
There are cases of vandalization within Lafia Metropolis, that's the state capital. I have received more than 10 complaints and I've tried as much to restore light in different community, more than 6 communities, Mr. Speaker. And this issue keep on coming. It will interest you to know the member representing Lafia Obi constituency also participating in restoring light in the community where they vandalized this cable in a transformer. And the question here, Mr. Speaker, who are responsible for vandalization of this cable?
Akwashiki called for urgent steps to be taken to curtail the constant vandalization of the armored cables and other electric facilities in his constituency and the state at large in order to boost the socio-economic activities of the people. Speaking on the Assembly resolution on the matter, Speaker of the Assembly, Ibrahim Balarabi, conveyed the House's displeasure with the constant vandalization of electric armored cables in Lafia and other local government areas of the state.
This has urged the government, as a matter of necessity, takes a measure to address this ugly trend. This has also urged the security agencies to redouble their effort in securing all these facilities for the benefit of our people. Thank you very much.
The Speaker described the situation as unfortunate and uncalled for, as activities of the criminals are affecting power supply and negatively impacting the socio-economic life of the state.
Yet to be identified gunmen have shot dead a man identified simply as Wilson and believed to be the leader of Community Vigilante in Warri South local government area of Delta State. Trust TV gathered that the incident occurred early Monday morning at the First Marine Gate Junction in Warri. Sources said the gunmen engaged the Community Vigilante group in a gun duel, during which some members of the Vigilante team fled due to the superior power or firepower of the unknown gunmen. Though details of the incident are sketchy, the corpse of the deceased remained by the roadside at the scene of the incident for several hours. The State Police Command is yet to issue a statement on the incident. Farmers in Gombe are expressing concern over this season's erratic rainfall, which may affect the outcome of their yields. The farmers say the situation is disheartening, considering how close the harvest period is for most crops. Gombe has been without rainfall for almost 10 days now. Ibrahim Ismail visited some farmlands and sent in this report from Gombe State.
These little beans plants in their developing stage need water to grow. The last rain dropped 10 days ago, and since then the plants are becoming yellowish and thirsty.
Ma gigan gaskiya amfani da yawa ya ta gayyara wallahi.
Erratic rainfall has affected maize and millet, which required water this period. The land has dried up. Removing the grass has been very difficult. It could have been easier if it rains, and I will finish in just a day. The plants need water at this time. They are not ripe yet. This is our biggest challenge.
The
farmers who are optimistic of getting a bumper harvest urge Nigerians to pray for God's intervention. We praise God for the good condition of our farms. Although there is a decline in the rainfall, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Experts have linked erratic rainfall to the effect of climate change, a global crisis that inflicts injury on Mother Earth. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Farmers in Gombe complaining about erratic rainfall. We are brought up to date by Ibrahim Ismail in that story. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome. Thank you for staying with us. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, Mele Kyari, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, MMDPRA, Farouk Ahmed, have shunned the probe panel constituted by the House of Representatives to investigate irregularities and alleged corruption in the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited. Chairman of the ad hoc committee, Abubakar Nalaraba, while declaring the hearing open, said the committee was constituted following the House's resolution to investigate circumstances surrounding the acquisition of OVH Energy Marketing by the NNPCL. However, the sitting could not hold following the failure of the chief executives to appear in person. Both instead sent representatives with the excuse that they are indisposed. While the NNPC sent its Executive Vice President downstream, Yemi Adetunji, the NMDPRA was represented by Soji Sholoye. This did not sit well with the committee as it dissolved into a closed-door session to decide the next line of action, as it insists that both chief executives must appear at a date to be decided.
I bring to you the humble
apologies of Malam Mele Kyari, the Group CEO of NNPC Limited. He's unable to attend.
NNDPRA in this public hearing. Unfortunately, both of them are unavoidably absent.
I would want to move a motion that the committee will not be able to go on with this public hearing, and I move that this session be adjourned.
The doyen of the accounting profession, Pa Akintola Williams, has passed away at the age of 104. The foremost accountant celebrated his 104th birthday on August the 9th. Chamun Dabeng gives us a profile of the late Akintola Williams.
Nigeria's first indigenous chartered accountant, Chief Akintola Williams, has passed away at the age of 104. Williams died in his house in Lagos on Monday. Born August 9, 1919, Williams obtained a degree in commerce majoring in banking and finance from the University of London in 1946. Williams pioneered Nigeria's accounting profession, becoming not only the first Nigerian to qualify as a chartered accountant, but also the first in sub-Saharan Africa. He equally played a major role in growing the country's financial sector, and in 1952 he founded the first indigenous chartered accounting firm in Africa, Akintola Williams & Co. in Lagos. He is credited with developing the accountancy profession in the country by facilitating the establishment of the Association of Accountants in Nigeria back in 1960. Which later became the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, and was one of the founding members and the first president of the institution. Also, he played an invaluable role in the establishment of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and was honored with the Order of the Federal Republic by the Nigerian government in 1982. Williams was also honored in 1997 by Queen Elizabeth II with the Commander of the British Empire title. A serial entrepreneur, Williams was an outstanding and well-established accountant and administrator who remained active and dedicated throughout his working days. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Chamun, and we'll remain with Chamun for business update. Over to you.
At least 4 commercial banks in Nigeria have reported 478 billion naira in non-performing loans during the first half of this year. In particularly Guaranty Trust Bank Holding PLC GT Co., FBN Holdings PLC, and 2 other banks reported 478.93 billion naira in non-performing loans by value in the half year ended June 2023, up over 16% from 413.36 billion naira in the full year ended December 31st, 2022. FCMB Group PLC and Fidelity Bank PLC are the other 2 banks. According to their financial statements, FBN Holdings recorded NPLs worth 226.24 billion naira by value in Q1 2023, up from 204.29 billion naira reported in 2022, with an NPL ratio of about 4.3% and 5.26 trillion naira in gross loans and advances. The holdings reported a gross loans and advances ratio of 3.79 trillion naira and an NPL ratio of 5.4% for the 2022 fiscal year. As of Q1 2023, GT Co. announced NPLs of 115.29 billion naira, up from 102.37 billion naira reported in the 2022 fiscal year. According to the most recent data from the National Bureau of Statistics, the insurance industry resumed growth after increasing by 8.29% in the second quarter of 2023. The sector had previously seen a setback of 7.25% shrinkage in the first quarter of the year as a result of cash constraints occasioned by the Central Bank of Nigeria's Naira devaluation strategy. According to the NBS's second quarter GDP report, the financial institutions and insurance subsectors of the finance and insurance sector accounted for 90.78% and 9.22% respectively of the sector in real terms in Quarter 2, 2023. The sector's contribution to the nominal GDP was 4.01% in Quarter 2, 2023, up from 3.63% in the preceding year, but down from the 4.11% it contributed the quarter before that. The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative has reported that between January and June 2023, the 36 states of the Federation collected around 1.51 trillion naira, or 34.5% of the total 4.37 trillion naira split by the three levels of government. This is according to the 2023 Federation Account Statutory Revenue Allocations Report for the second quarter. According to the report, states received approximately 817.79 billion naira from the total distributable allocation of 2.32 trillion naira in the first quarter and 688.2 billion naira from the second quarter allocation of 2.04 trillion naira. According to the report, a 12% decrease in the overall allocation in the second quarter led to a 15.8% decrease in the state's share in the first quarter from 817.8 billion naira to 688.2 billion naira. Despite the overall allocation declining, the report observed that when the 13% derivation revenue was included, the state allocation topped those of the federal government. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
And away from Nigeria, at least 2,681 people died in the strongest ever earthquake to hit Morocco, the Interior Ministry said on Monday, revising an earlier toll of nearly 2,500 dead. Another 2,501 people were injured, the ministry said, as rescue workers race against time in an effort to find survivors. Friday's 6.8 magnitude quake struck 72 kilometers southwest of the tourist hub of Marrakesh, wiping out entire villages in the hills of the Atlas Mountains. On Sunday, an aftershock of magnitude 4.5 rattled the same region, the mountain village of Tafegagit, 60 kilometers from Marrakesh, was almost entirely destroyed, with very few buildings still standing. Amidst the debris, civilian rescuers and members of Morocco's armed forces search for survivors and the bodies of the dead. At least 150 people were killed in floods in eastern Libya as a result of Storm Daniel, which has swept the Mediterranean, an official said on Monday. Images filmed by residents of the disaster area showed massive mudslides, collapsed buildings, and entire neighborhoods submerged underwater. Mohamed Mossoud, a spokesman for the Benghazi-based administration in Libya, said the Prime Minister of the East-based government, Osama Hamad, and the head of a rescue committee, as well as other ministers, had traveled to Derna to evaluate the extent of the damage. Hamad's government, which rivals an unbrokered, internationally recognized transitional administration in Tripoli, on Monday declared Derna a disaster area. Experts have described Storm Daniel, which also struck parts of Greece, Turkey and Bulgaria in recent days, killing at least 27 people, as extreme in terms of the amount of water falling in a space of 24 hours. The storm struck eastern Libya on Sunday afternoon, notably the coastal town of Jabal al-Aqda, but also Benghazi, where a curfew was declared and schools closed for several days. Time now to join Kabir Lawal for Sports Update.
We begin with football, where Gambia on Sunday secured a second AFCON berth on after a tie against the Congo in Marrakesh Grand Stadium. The fixture took place despite a devastating earthquake that has plunged countless Moroccan families in mourning. Substitutes Yankuba Minte and Mohamed Badamosi scored the 2 goals despite the Congo having a 2-goal lead. The twist earned Gambia the lone point it needed to advance towards a dream second African Cup of Nations tournament. The Gambia ended AFCON qualifier ranking Group G, that is headed by Mali. The game took place in Marrakesh Grand Stadium because the Gambia doesn't have a stadium meeting international standards. The 2023 African Cup of Nations will kick off on January 13, 2024. Now to boxing, WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury says he wants the boxing world to laugh at him. He is knocked out by former MMA star Francis Ngannou in their non-title bout in Riyadh next month. Fury and the former UFC heavyweight champion appeared at a media conference in London to promote the fight. He recalled that they only trained 6 weeks for Deontay Wilder, adding that he is doing 12 weeks for Francis Ngannou. He assured of coming at his fittest and strongest and best ever to defeat his opponent. And now to rugby, South African Springboks successfully defended their title by defeating Scotland 18-3 during the 2023 Rugby World in Marseille. South Africa took the lead after holding on for an hour, making a strong start for a team that had not won its opener since year 2011, following defeats by Japan in 2015 and New Zealand 4 years ago. South African captain Siyosi Kilusi admitted that the team was little slow to get going with an intensity below their standard, but added that they were able to seize their opportunities in the second half thanks to an effective conquest. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
And with exciting news coming from the sports world, we conclude tonight's news hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. On behalf of the team, I am Eugenia Abu. We thank you for watching.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.